Hello and welcome. This is going to be angle measure section 1.4b. This is the second part. We're going to be constructing an angle bisector as well as constructing congruent angles today. So first thing is, what is an angle bisector, or what does bisect mean? So let's go ahead and highlight bisector as our vocab word, as well as let's write a new word named bisect. That is another word we can actually define as well, and we're going to highlight that in green as well. So when we do this, we want to look at this description. An angle bisector is a line, a ray, or a line segment that divides an angle into two congruent angles. It's going to pass through the vertex of the angle, dividing it into two equal parts. So let's go ahead and do an angle here. So we're going to draw an angle, and I'm going to put some points in here. So let's say that's y, this is x, this is w. We have this, and we want to divide it into two equal parts. So we're going to make a ray exactly in the middle of that angle. And that would be a bisector. And we're going to put a P here. I'm putting a dashed line just to highlight that is the ray that's bisecting. One thing to note is that this angle, I put a tick mark like that, this is going to be, let's say, 40 degrees. It's going to be congruent to this angle here. Whatever it is, if it's 40 degrees, it's also 40 degrees over there. That's what it means to be a bisector. Or what does bisect mean? It means to cut in half. So one of the things to note is that it just means to cut something in half. And what we know is halves are equal. So this is half of the angle and this is the other half, or two equal parts. So what we are going to do is write that that xp, which ray xp is going to bisect, and that's going to be angle wxy. Or we could go and do it the other way. So again, you would say this is ray xp, which has to start with x goes to p, and we could say angle yxw or wxy, either way. So that is a key piece of information that we are going to say or write it that way. So our first few examples are going to be using a compass and a ruler to construct the angle bisector. So I'm actually going to not do it on the paper. I'll do it on the paper for this one, kind of rough sketch it, but I'm going to show you how it would look on Alex. So let's go ahead and do these, but I'm going to use Alex to do both of these because I can't really use the tool on this app as well as I can on Alex. So this is how your homework will look. So it's very similar to this problem here on the left. So almost the same, we'll follow the same directions. So what we're going to do is the first step is clicking the compass tool. So click the compass tool and we're placing the center at the vertex. Now we have to figure out how long of the compass we want. So in real life, we can lock how long it is, and we can also lock how long it is here. So do you see how we have a longer segment on the left than the one on the right? Well, we want the shorter segment and put it somewhere on that and press lock. Now we can rotate it around, and if you're using a Chromebook or a PC, it should auto draw. In this case, for me on my iPad, I have to click the drawing tool, and then I'm just going to draw like that. So it looks like that. So I need to draw this arc where it connects and intersects both of those kind of segments that go out. So then I'm going to use the tool again. In this case, I have to move my center to where it just intersected and set it there. Then I'm going to find the width, but I'm going to put it to be that exact width. And then what I want to do is I'm going to just mark a marking over here. So I want to go right here and make kind of like a little mark that's that length of that radius. And I did not want it to do the whole circle, so let me redo that again. So go back here, go to here, and then just move it over here. And I'm going to, I have to lock this in place, sorry. Lock that in place, move it over here, click this, and then I just go like that. And then I have to make another attempt there. I'm going to go ahead and do the second line, but I'm setting my center at a different spot, and then I'm copying that same length. That length is important. And then what I have to do is I have to, again, make this little arc here. Now, I will need to make a point where those intersect. So both of those intersect right there. So now I have two different points. I have this point, and this will be that bisector. Now I have to click my ruler. So let's click the ruler, and I have to put on the first point and click that the second point, and then connect and just draw those lines here. So let me do it. Did I not do it? Okay. Here, struggling as always. Oh, I got to click that, and then I have to draw this. And you can draw it longer or anything. It can be a line or a segment or a ray, but just draw it through all of that. And then when you're done, you just click check, and it should pop up in green, and that would be my angle bisector. And it looks like it's identical to that because it is. So let's go ahead and do it one more time. We're going to kind of match this one on the right there as best we can. So let me go to the next problem, because I think this next one is similar. So kind of like it, but a little bit bigger. So again, how do I do this? I make sure I click the compass tool. I go to the center, click the center. And again, I don't want it too long. I want it shorter than the shortest side. And again, I'm going to click and draw that circle or part of a circle there. I re-click that compass tool, go to the place where I want it to, that intersection here, that new center, and then I make it the length of where the other intersection is. Now I just go up here across from it where it kind of looks like the middle and just kind of draw a line, something like that. So then we have to do the second one. Let me get back in here. So now I have to go over here this time and go to the same length here, but let me lock it in first. Okay, so now I have that length, and now I just got to draw this arc where it intersects like that. And again, we're going to do our pencil tool to put it where it intersects, make it have a dot there. It's really easy with a mouse to do this. And then you put this first place here and the second point there, and we go ahead and draw that line just like that. Now if I move that away or check my answer, that would be what it looks like. So please try the ones underneath with own straight edge and compass and pencil. So if you actually did the first two in the example, it looks kind of like this. The other two I won't do. You should try that and check in class. Also, just remember that you need to highlight this is our example. And because this is a you try or check your understanding, you should highlight that in orange. So let's go ahead to the back side, and we're going to actually do something called constructing congruent angles. So let's go ahead and talk about congruent angles over here. First off, again, highlight in green because it is a new definition. Also, example 2, we would highlight that in blue because that's a new example. So let's talk about what congruent angles are. We already talked about congruency. Means like the same size, the same shape, same anything. So the idea is a congruent angle is going to have the same measure. So if I just draw a random angle like this and say that's roughly 30 degrees, and let's say this is A here. If we just have a letter, we could name it that way and actually say that this is angle A. And let's say this is going to be congruent to angle B. And angle B could be over here and look like this, but it just has to be exactly the same size. So let's say this is B, and this is also 30 degrees. I'm not measuring that, but that's pretty close. Also, if we want to say the same measure, we could also say the measure of angle A is equal to the measure of angle B. So these are ways to write it. This is saying that the segments are the same shape, same size, same everything. This is saying that their length or measure is equal as well. So this is using a congruent symbol. This is the equal sign. So this is how you have to do it for here. This is how you have to do it for there. They are different, and you must follow those things. So let's go ahead and actually draw an angle congruent to this using a compass and a ruler. So I'm going to move this up. There's a lot of space, and we would actually copy this with this point here. So let's bring up Alex here. So it's this very similar one, almost the same. So we're going to be using or basically doing something very similar, same process here. So again, we're using a compass, a pencil, and a straight edge. So the first thing you have to do is start with the straight edge tool. So we're going to start here, and we're going to put this at that little X, and then we can move it anywhere. I like to keep it flat and press it here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my pencil down here, and I'm going to draw just a flat line. Now, what do I have to do? I have to use this compass tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click this here, and I'm going to put lock, and I'm going to draw this arc here. And let me just go back this way here. So I have this right there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and move that. I'm not going to do anything. I'm keeping the same arc, the same radius here, and do that over here. And I have to measure this as well, just like that. That is the first step. We're copying this over here. Now what we're going to do is, again, click the compass tool again, but now I'm starting it right here, and I actually have to measure that right here and lock that in. Now I'm just going to move that. It's still that same thing. So I'm going to start here, but I'm going to rotate this. Sorry, it's going a little funky. I'm going to rotate it, so I'm going to draw this arc right here. So I'm going to draw right there so that this point right here is the same point as right over here. Those are the same 2 points. Now, all I have to do is just connect this point to this point, and that would be my angle that I want right here. So now I have created the angle I need, and I'm just going to check that it actually worked, and yes, that would be my angle. So kind of cool. So let's go ahead and just do one more together. Let me go up to number 6 here. And let's do one that's a little bit skinnier here. So it's a very similar process. We start with the straight edge tool. We put it here. You could do anywhere you want, honestly, but I like just keeping it flat right there, and then just drawing, bringing my line tool down and drawing a flat line, just kind of matching the other one. Now again, we take the compass. We are going to make it not too long so it can hit both of those. So lock that in there. And I'm going to start by drawing this just like that. I will be moving this over here and also drawing that same kind of arc, copying and pasting that. Then again, we click the compass tool another time, but if you remember, I wanted to match this length from here to here. So I match that length, and then I just move that over here, and then I just kind of draw that little arc here. Now I just have to make sure that this, remember that point and this point are essentially the same. So I have to make sure there's a point there, and then I have to connect that A prime, that vertex with that right there. And I just use that line tool, click it, and then draw that line. And then just make sure I check my answer. So let me go ahead and move that up, and I will check that answer, and it should be golden, and that's correct. So that would be how I copy or construct a congruent angle. Go ahead and try those next ones on your own. See if you can do those on your own. I'm going to move this away. After you try it, I will have a rough sketch of what it should look like. So hopefully you tried it. It should somewhat look like this. Again, you're going to click here, and you're going to, or use your compass tool. Sorry, I don't have a compass on this, but you're going to compass it. You copy that same thing here. Then you go here and copy this length with the compass. You click here, and then you just measure that little part here, and then just connect those 2 points.